Chapter 7. Meeting the Maniacs. Violet's point of view. I like what I see. I turned around, startled by the voice, only to see Jared. I gave him a genuine smile. "You're not bad yourself," I shot back. And it was true. He wore a light blue button-up collared shirt that admired his muscle frame. His jeans were dark blue that hung a bit too low to the ground. I wore something casual and different. Jeff told me not to wear anything short because he said he doesn't want his friends going all Google Gaga on me. After yesterday, the day went by as usual. Jared and I went to the mall to buy some clothes. I got some nice pink velvet flats and cute sunny dress with flowers lined up at the waist. On me was a mini jacket. I wore black tights, mostly because the dress was above my knees. My hair was curled in a low ponytail, in which I put aside to make myself look better. I pinned a small violet flower to my hair, matching with my name. I was also just finishing the last touch, which was putting on some mascara. I like to say that I look pretty. I'm sure Jared says the same, and bless his soul, he stayed with me the entire time, the mall, without complaining once. Now, how cool and sweet is that? I looked over to him, allowing to wrap his arms around me. I pecked him on the lips, but wanted more, so I gave him a sweet, passionate kiss. Somewhere in the middle, I heard a groan come from behind us. I turned around, breaking the kiss, only to see none other than Jeff. You know his face doesn't scare me anymore. It's actually quite charming. And when he told me he loved me, I really didn't know how to feel. A heartless killer in love with you? Now, how would you feel? I'm not sure, but it's charming to know that. Jared is obviously the only one for me, but it's great to know that hopefully Jeff and I can stay friends. And I know, he's a heartless killer. Why aren't you afraid? Why don't you call the police? The only reason why is because Jeff's like the kind of guy not to even the cops can find. And besides, he's really nice to me. You're jealous, Jared said, teasing Jeff. Jeff rolled his eyes and put his arms around his chest. "Let's go. My family's waiting," Jeff said. "And Violet, you look very beautiful and hot and attractive," Jeff said, not taking his eyes off Jared. Jared shot him daggers, making Jeff smile even wider. "Ooh, and sexy," Jeff added. I was probably blushing like crazy. The last part set Jared off the time bomb. He charged full speed at Jeff. Luckily, I blocked him. "Just ignore him, Jared," I told him sternly. "Yeah, retard. Just ignore the truth," Jeff said, letting out a small chuckle. I turned to face Jeff with my hands on my hips. "And how exactly did you get in here, Jeff?" I questioned him. He immediately responded with, "Honey, 6 years of stealth and hiding and escaping gave me training." I did the calculation in my head. He turned insane at 13, and he is 19 right now, so if that subtracted that, you'll get 6. AKA, he went through the window, Jared said, followed by a chuckle. Jeff shot him a death glare. "Meh, guys will be guys. I once heard that all men are secretly 5-year-olds. And if you don't believe me, take a look at them." "Okay, let's go," Jeff said. "Lead the way," I said. We all walked towards the door. Jeff opened it and then went behind the wide door and said, "Ladies first." How polite of him. I walked out of the door into a beautiful nature. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff purposely bumped into Jared, but I ignored. gosh, I hate the sun, Jeff hissed as he covered his face with his hoodie, becoming anonymous. The sun hates you too, Jared said, breaking into a laughter later. Time skip. Jeff, why exactly are we in the woods? I asked. Seriously, do his friends live here? Well, my family and I aren't exactly normal, he said, his sentence trailing off. Normal? What does he mean by that? Normal as in they aren't friendly or something? I was a bit too deep in my thoughts to notice we already stopped. I looked towards me and saw we stopped in front of a tree. It was an old-looking tree, but it had beautiful leaves. One thing I quickly took notice of it, how there was an X on it. Why are we here? Jared asked confusingly. Jeff didn't pay attention. All I knew was that all of Jeff's concentration went to the X. In about 7 seconds, the X started glowing a bright blue. What the hell? But I immediately let out a gasp when I saw some sort of portal or vortex come up right next to the tree. I staggered back, and so did Jared. And we time traveling or something? How did he do that? Is he a wizard or something? Don't be scared. Just follow me, Jeff said, extending his hand so I can take it. No way, I'm not going in there, I exclaimed. Oh, come on. I promise nothing will happen. Trust me, Jeff said, shaking his hand so I can grab it. Well, promises are meant to be broken, I shot back, crossing my arms across my chest. Not my promises, he shot back, leaving the bit shock. Trust him? He did save you from you-know-what. I bit my lip nervously before taking his hand. Jared put an arm around my waist before we went in. After that, everything went black. I felt a giant vacuum was sucking me in. My hair was probably all messy. Next to me, I saw 2 shadows. Everything was black and a bit blue, but it didn't last long. It only lasted for about 10 seconds. As if I opened my eyes, I landed on the ground with 2 feet, about to fall, but Jeff catching me. I blushed a bit before murmuring thanks. Next, Jared also came, landing on the ground with a thud. I looked at the scenery around us. We were in the woods. All the trees were old. The grass was green, but it had large patches of brown on them. Not even a single bird chirped was heard. It gave you that creepy feeling, like as if you're alone and something will come out and get you. Where are we? Jared asked. We, my enemy, are in the creepypasta world. Creepypasta? What the hell's that? A type of dish Jeff makes or something? And world? As in, we went to another world? Follow me, guys, Jeff said, already jogging. I don't like where this is going, but I have a feeling something bad will happen. I was flabbergasted. The mansion in front of me was beautiful. No, amazing. Most of it was gold-colored with lots of windows, and in front of was decorated with beautiful flowers of all kinds, including roses. Jeff rang the doorbell many times before a small girl answered it. She had long brown hair and stunning green eyes. In one hand, she had a small blue teddy bear. A smile spread across her small face. You must be Violet, she said in a squeaky voice. Jeff talks a lot about you, she says, pointing her finger at me. Sally, Jeff said. So where are the rest? Jeff asked, changing the subject. Oh, they're in the living room. And you must be retard. Sally exclaimed, pointing her eyes at Jared. Sally! Don't say that bad word, Jeff said. Sorry, she said, a bit hurt. Aw, it was an honest mistake, Sally, Jared and I said together. Her face light up again, then pull us all in. Guys, they're here, Sally shouted. I heard a bark from somewhere. Then out of the blue, the creepiest looking dog came and jumped on me. He barked and licked my face. Ah! I exclaimed. Smile, don't do that, some unknown voice said. The dog was finally off of me. Finally, I took notice that he had human teeth. What the freak? Jared exclaimed. He was more shocked than scared. Don't worry, Smile here doesn't bite. Well, unless he wants to kill you, Jeff said. Smile barked, as if in agreement. Oh, so that's how you look. I turned around only to be greeted by a guy wearing a blue mask. The eye sockets were empty and looked as if there were something oozing from the eye socket. He had brown hair where the front was spiked up. Hello. My name is Eilish Jack, but you can call me Jack, he said cheery. His hand had extended. Hi, my name is, but he cut me off with Violet. I know. Jeff talks quite a lot about you, he said. I was probably blushing right now, but he was right, Jack said with a smile. And you must be Jared, Jack said, turning to Jared. Pleasure to meet you. Oh, my turn to meet her, some deep voice said. A guy with a mask came up to me. He had a white mask with eyebrows were raised, and his lips were black. Hi, I'm Masky. I shook his hand with a smile. And I'm Hoodie. I looked around to find another guy with a yellow jacket over his head. It looked like he had no face except the fact that there were two large dots as eyes and a red thin smile. Nice to meet you, Hoodie, I shot back as I shook his hand. Someone apparently bumped into Hoodie, causing him to fall. I saw a familiar guy who was wearing mostly green, and his ears were like those of an elf. Hi, I'm Ben. Delighted to meet you, Ben. You look familiar. Have I seen you somewhere? Jared interrupted. Well, if you play Legend of Zelda, then you would know me, Ben said. Wait, aren't you the haunted Major's Mask? Jared said, squinting. The one and only, Ben said, beaming proudly. Now where's the young child? I turned around only to see someone really creepy. In front of me, a tall, really tall dude wearing a business suit. He had literally no face. Well, except a bump in the middle of his face that seemed to be the nose. But it literally just a bump. I felt like screaming, but somehow I suppress it. Jared looked just as shocked as me. Ah, Jeffrey, dear, was right. You are beautiful, the man said. He extended his hand forward. I am none other than Slender Man. You may call me Slendy, but please refrain from calling me Slender. I get very irritated, he said with a deep, gruff voice. Wow, for a killer, he was really polite and formal. Hi, I said, stuttering from fear. He chuckled a creepy chuckle. No need to be frightened. I may be very creepy, but you are Jeffrey's girl, so I won't hurt you and your boyfriend at all, he said back. I'm home. Where's the little girl? A happy, cheery voice said, followed by a slammed door. I heard some groans from the crew. Jeff's point of view. Splender's man's here. Man, that guy can be a bit annoying. Slendy is Slender's man's younger brother. He's the exact opposite. Splendy is all happy-sappy. Instead of killing you, he'll give you flowers and tell you how beautiful you are. He'll give you balloons and make kids happy. The worst part? He doesn't even kill. How sick is that? He's not even a true creepypasta. He said he doesn't like killing, and that's very wrong and impolite. He even talks politely to you, like as if you're a celebrity. And he also has a face. It's just the two vertical lines and an upside-down capital D as a mouth. His suit has a colorful polka dots everywhere on it, and so does his laptop. So does his top hat and his tentacles. I remember when I asked him why he doesn't like to kill. It's very bad and rude to kill and take away the life of an innocent person who has done nothing wrong to you. Sad, isn't it? Poor fella. But actually, if you get Splendy furious, well, that's when he will kill you. I remember when Splendy was entertaining the kids at a park and he had his balloons. But then a parent came up to him and said something that he got pissed off. On that day, 4 kids died and 2 parents. He still sat over it. Hey there, Jeff. How are you, my man? Splendy exclaimed, messing with my greasy hair. Hi, Splendy, I said through gritted teeth. His voice is way too much like King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Where's the girl you always talk about? I bet she's a lovely one, he said, his eyes roaming for Violet. His face lit up when he saw her. My, oh my, now aren't you beautiful? Splendy said. Brother, isn't she gorgeous? Splendy said to Splendy. Splendy was kind of ashamed of Splendor Man because he doesn't kill. Violet blushed a bit at Splendy's comment. Aw, she's so cute when she blushes. The way her cheekbones get all red. 3 hours later. Violet's point of view. So you're all killers? I asked after we were done with dinner. For a house of killers, they make some good mashed potatoes. Well, yeah, Jack replied. Except for me, Splendy saying. It's so strange. He sounds exactly like King from Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. And a creepypasta is basically a site where they have fictional characters. And you guys are those characters, I asked again. Girl, you ain't never been right, Hoodie exclaimed. Splendy smacked his head, causing him to let out a yelp. Please don't talk like that when you are homosexual, Splendy said. Before dinner, Sally asked us if we could spend the night here. And why not? We had a break from school, and they also have 4 extra bedrooms. Speaking of that, I got a tour of a mansion. In total, it had 13 bedrooms, 3 living rooms, 2 kitchens, 6 bathrooms, and a beautiful backyard where there were a large fountain. Besides, I've grown to trust these people. They may be killers, but they sure are sweet and hilarious. So either you guys can have separate bedrooms, or you can, sleep together, Hoodie said. Yeah, but don't have too much fun. We don't want Sally asking us that, no, what's that banging noises where last night? Ben said, wiggling his eyebrows and chuckling. I could feel my whole body turn deep red. Yeah, don't do any But Jack was cut off by Jeff saying, Virgin ears, very angrily. The boys laughed at Jeff's comment. I bet those are ears that didn't make love yet. Jared and I chuckled at that joke. We'll sleep together. I don't want anything happening to her, Jared said, muttering the last part. I just hope things will turn out good, because I have a feeling something bad will happen soon.